according to my math, it seems like they could play anybody, but depending on who wins that first game, which team would you like to see the least?
I really want Washington to play Brooklyn in the 7-2.
Okay.
So I'm going to be rooting for Washington over Boston. And then I probably existentially and spiritually, if we're talking about Brett Brown, I want Boston in the first round. And I want to beat them 4-0. And I want to feel that, and I want them to feel us and get revenge for that. Obviously they're not at their best, but the Sixers weren't at their best last season when they got swept. But I think just like emotionally I need that on the road to a, like if they play Charlotte, because now if it's like Charlotte, Atlanta, and then Eastern Conference Finals, I think there's going to be a little bit. I'm not going to take anything for granted, and I'm not going to feel any. I'm not going to apologize for how the seeding turned out. I'm not going to apologize for the Phillies beating the Rays in 08. Like, it's a World Series. Like, I'll take anything. The Sixers have been to the Eastern Conference Finals once in my life. I'll get there how we get there. But I would like to feel some redemption of beating Boston in the first round and putting them in the grave and allowing Brad's seat to get even hotter. And that would feel good for me. So I hope, as much as I'll probably end up rooting for the Hornets because I think they're a fun team to root for, just watching those games, which I'm excited to watch on Tuesday night. But I think that's my perfect world. It is Washington, Brooklyn, and Sixers, Celtics.
Now, if Washington loses the first game and wins the second game, then we get Washington.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, and like I'm sure I will eat these words, but playing like something like Charlotte and then Atlanta or the Knicks is a comical road to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, it is a relative cakewalk. They're the Sixers. We've seen them do crazier stuff. Like, it's not perfect. But yeah, and Atlanta's definitely a really good offensive team, and they have impressive players, and the Knicks are going to beat the shit out of them for 7 games or 5
Hawks
games.
are frauds.
They're just young. I think that they're good. But they're young, and the Sixers should beat. Honestly, the Sixers should beat anybody. Whoever is there, they should beat.
Yes.
But as far as like who I want to feel, I would like it would be cool from like an old school Eastern Conference to just beat Boston and New York on the way to whoever's left standing in the Eastern Conference Final.
And I would say that the team, not that I would be scared of them. I'm not scared of them, but the team that in the 1-8 matchup that I would be like, we could definitely lose the first game here is Washington.
Oh, interesting.
Like, because Washington,
Indiana.
No, they're that coach stuff. They're just such a fucking. They seem like a mess right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they like have it, but Washington coming off a win in the play-in, I just think right now is sort of feeling themselves a little bit. And Brad Beal has a lot to prove to Kent Bazemore, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be scared of anybody. You got to beat whoever's there, and they're going to be the Sixers are going to be heavily favored no matter what, and should be. But if one of those teams in the 9-10, so Charlotte or Indiana, if they win 2 straight games to get into the 8 seed, then I think that's momentum and that's confidence, especially if it's a young team like Charlotte, because they don't know any better, and LaMelo is excellent and could just like control the tempo, control the game. Terry Rozier has no conscience. Devontae Graham has no conscience. Miles Bridges has no conscience. Like if they just get hot, like it could be less of a cakewalk than I want it to be, but it shouldn't be a problem. And if it is, then they deserve it to lose.